Yo my people, just a quick note, I am not an astrologer. This video is derived from my Pisces messenger video, which explains Pisces and Gemini similarities and differences. This is my personal knowledge from being a Pisces and to give another perspective on the other signs. This is not to glorify or give people evil ideas. It's for self-awareness and a potential warning to others. Not everyone will have the same views and experiences, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now let's get to it. Curious. Heartless. Gemini. So what is Gemini? Gemini is the mutable air sign ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication. Gemini represents the third house in the Zodiac wheel, which is things like siblings, local travel, friends, community, neighbours, and so on. The signs in the Zodiac can be looked at in terms of human age, starting with Aries, who is the baby, discovering their hands, their feet, learning to walk and talk. It's self-focused. Taurus is like the child that starts collecting toys and wanting nice things. Gemini is like the teen who is finally free to explore with their friends. Go shopping, go cinemas, go on fancy dates at McDonald's and meet people. It's like the first time communication with others becomes a focal point in the soul's journey through the Zodiac, which is depicted in Gemini's symbol. It's both two people communicating and the twins within Gemini, but I'll cover that later. So with Gemini's being at this stage, what you get is someone that is curious about everything. Also to note, Gemini is a part of the mutable signs group, along with Virgo, Sagittarius and Pisces, which basically means they are adaptable people, go with the flow type people. They are also a part of the air signs, which includes Libra and Aquarius. Air energy is like Mercury. It's communicative, thinking, analysing, sharing ideas, light free-flowing energy. Gemini is the youngest with this energy, whilst Aquarius is the oldest with it. So from this information alone, it is not hard to see what the dark side to this will be if you've got someone who is curious about life and ready to experiment. Now, it's good to be curious, but not all curiosity is good. And that Gemini is ruled by the planet of intellect. This makes Geminis typically smart people. But that Sagittarius, their opposite sign, is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of wisdom and abundance and luck. This can translate to Geminis being a sign that is smart but not wise. And vice versa with Sagittarius. So let's break the Gemini curiosity into two sections, people and places. Gemini's curiosity with people can make them very hated people because they will literally do things to others out of curiosity. They will think of it, then want to feel it without further thinking of what it will feel like for another. This includes kissing someone just to know what it feels like, sleeping with someone just to know what it feels like, talking to someone just to know what they're thinking, hitting someone just to know what it feels like. The list goes on. Geminis get the thought of it, then do it. They don't sit and think it out. So if they kiss someone out of curiosity, they will be fulfilled. It was a decent kiss. Tongue could have done with a little scraping, but whatever. Then Gemini can be off on their merry way. The other person now, that could have been their first kiss. That kiss could have meant the world to them. And now they've caught feelings for the Gemini, want to take it further. So say the Gemini kissed them, then walked off leaving this person in a little trance. They break out of it, then run around looking for that Gemini because they've caught feelings. Finally find the Gemini and catch them kissing someone else. This is how Geminis breaks people's hearts. Because to them, they're just being curious. They aren't focusing on your feelings, nor their own, for that matter. But to others on the receiving end, it will result in pain. Gemini's motto is, I think. Cancer, after Gemini, is I feel. So Gemini doesn't operate out of feelings. They do have feelings, yes, but they keep things light. Remember, they're the teens, exploring, having fun with friends, spring break and all that shit. So you can apply that concept to any form of relationship, like where you can think a Gemini is your friend, because they talk to you a lot. These times, they just want to share point of views on a topic. That's it. while you can see the Gemini as a friend because, well, you two talk a lot. Do you get the confusion? Geminis are typically the friendliest sign, but they are not the sign of friends. Aquarius, the eldest and typically the most mature with the air energy, is the sign of friends, because Aquarius is fixed air. Libra, the middle air sign, is cardinal air, so Libras will initiate the relation, the conversation. Their goal is to learn about others and in turn learn about their self through others. Gemini is just learning to learn. It's not really about you in the end. So that's a dark side, because even when these things may not have been maliciously meant by the Gemini, the other person will take it personally because they will feel used. So from being curious, Gemini will appear, key word, appear, to have many friends, many relationships, but to the Gemini, they can feel as free as a butterfly and be solo. Sleeping with this and that person, exploring with this and that person, talking with this and that person. That's why Geminis get called fake. And when people really know where they stand with a Gemini is when you try get clingy with them. That's when you may see a cold rejection side, where both you and the Gemini will be confused from your actions. Angelina Jolie once said, "I never like being touched. Ever. People used to say I held my breath when they were hugging me. I still do." What's the sign of clinginess and feelings? It's Cancers after Gemini. This is what the soul goes through next, and this is why Gemini will get those actions from others and not understand it. When they become Cancers, they get to understand it. The soul gets to understand it. Geminis aren't on that soppy shit, typically. I saw a meme that said Gemini hates Cancers because of the fucking crying. I mean, that is funny. It's not true, obviously. Cancers aren't the ones to play around with like that. But it reminds me of the original Broly and Goku storyline from Dragon Ball Z. Goku and Broly were both side to side as babies in some incubation shit on some spaceship or something. I can't even remember. And Goku kept crying and crying, which pissed Broly off so much that his sole purpose when older was to eliminate Goku. The only word Broly used to say was Goku's name. That's how much hate he had. But yeah, Geminis are always on the go. One song that represents Gemini perfectly, which is sung by a Gemini, is Gautier. Somebody. Man, I've real life listened to that song over 1,000 times. But that's the Gemini song. Masterpiece. Now with places, the Gemini curiosity will extend to this too. They will love to explore, go to the club, go to concerts, but they also explore people when they go these places. One night stands is perfect for a Gemini cause A, they go to a new place like a bar, so they get a new experience. B, they get to meet new people, so new conversations. And C, they get to know what it feels like to be with one of these people with no strings attached. It becomes an experience. That's it. Geminis are here for experiences and brain development. So on their end, they are never at a loss even if they get called hoes or fake or whatever. Gemini has still gained an experience and has learned something. It's not always a success story like that for the other person unless they're on that same vibe. Sagittarius, Gemini's opposite sign, has a similar reputation to Gemini, with like being hussies. But it's worse in Sag, because that's when it's like actually having multiple partners, not just one-nighters like Gemini. Sag is lifetimes spent with two families on the go, that sort of thing. All this is analogies and examples, of course. Not every Gemini and Sag is like this, but they are built like this, to be able to live like that. But overall, Gemini's curiosity is light-hearted to them, but to the majority, it will be received as dark-sided by others, by the receiver, unfortunately. Mischievous. The twins. As I said earlier, Gemini is depicted by two people. It's either seen as two people communicating with one another or twins. Well, Gemini are the twins of the Zodiac. Gemini and Pisces are the two most notable signs for having a duality. Two people, two fish. Geminis are the real-life Jekyll and Hyde. Two people in one person. Those twins is one Gemini. They represent the thoughts and the feelings. Gemini mainly works with one of the twins, the happy one, the thinking and non-thinking one. The other twin, the one with the deep feelings, rarely gets attention from Gemini, because although Geminis are the most multi-talented sign, great at multitasking, they cannot handle both their thoughts and feelings. It's either one or the other, and the thoughts will always be Gemini's go-to, but the feelings will always rear its head. They are there. So this alone makes for a dangerous person. This makes for a person who can do things they think is good, then feel bad about it afterwards. The feelings will never come first with Gemini, and when the feelings do pop up, the thoughts can easily override the feelings. Gemini really can stay in La La Land. You see how with every twin, there's a good and evil one. Not literally, but one will at least look more evil than the other. That's what's within Gemini's happy exterior, that evil twin. And that evil twin in their feelings will put evil thoughts in a Gemini's head out of spite of not being tended to, and cause Gemini to do things to give that evil twin satisfaction. For example, a Gemini can suddenly feel like hitting someone, then actually go and hit someone, and then be extremely sorry when they think about what they've just done. The thoughts can shut the feelings up, but the feelings will rebel and lash out. So when you as the victim can be like, what do you mean sorry? Who the fuck are you? Why did you just hit me? It will confuse the fuck out of you, but what you may not realise in that moment is that the Gemini is confused as fuck too. They will be thinking, why did I do that? It's a whole lot of madness. With Pisces, it's the spirit and the person. With Gemini, it's the feelings and the thoughts. And ignoring their feelings is why Geminis are the fairies in that dreamland Pisces are known to escape to. So this is where Geminis can be mischievous as hell, pulling pranks, think the Joker in Batman, or Deadpool in Marvel. Witty but dangerous as hell. Now sometimes Geminis do shut up and listen to their thoughts. Not hear them, then do, nah, sometimes they just listen. And if you observe it, you will literally see like the Gemini is at war with their self, like they're listening to something or someone. Maybe their eyes are moving back and forth too, like, where if they randomly said, no, I won't do that, in that moment, it wouldn't surprise you because you can already tell it's like they are hearing something you want. Mercury, Gemini's ruling planet, is also the messenger of the gods. And with Gemini being an air sign, what you get with Gemini are messengers. Pisces are the spiritual messengers. Geminis are the messengers of all messages, don't matter what it is. If we're like looking at the solar system, if the sun was God and was sending messages to all the planets, it will have to go through Mercury first, as Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. Mercury will see it first, even if it's flying over its head. Now what Mercury also is a planet of chaos. It's chaotic energy. It's fast, it's anxious, it's no patience energy. Gemini is also a sign that has thousands of messages flying in and out of their head, the same way with that Sun and Mercury analogy. So what this can translate to in reality is someone who has all this information about others and can carelessly deliver it because it means nothing to the Gemini. It's not personal to them, even if the message is personal. Think of a kid hearing their parents arguing. The mum screaming, why can't you get it up? I don't want to keep dressing up as your dad for you to get it up. So the kid goes and carries this information to school and tells the teacher, my mummy say my daddy not getting up. He not getting up. The teacher could be like, what the fuck is this kid trying to tell me? Is mum with his dad or something? So a couple calls take place and whatever, and the kid got it wrong. But this is what Geminis be doing. They overhear shit or focus on those thoughts or convos that flies through their head, then goes and spreads it, whether they understand what it means or not, whether it's the truth or not. and they can easily turn this into a skill. It's what makes them witty, quick off the dome. The way they can think of something and say without delay is a talent within itself. These people are talented people. For the boxing heads, Benjamin Whittaker. Watch how this Gemini fights and it like summarizes Geminis. Funny, but effective. For the football heads, there's a guy called Rafael Lau. Another typical Gemini. He plays with a big smile on his face. Like he's a serious baller, but he's always smiling. It's weird, but it's effective. And Frank is a Gemini. If anyone was to get known for their diary documenting such a horrific time like the Holocaust, it would be a Gemini. For the rap heads, Little Snoop was a Gemini. That's a prime example right there, as you won't come across many that could freestyle the way he did. Lisa Left Eye Lopez is an obvious one, and we all saw what she did to her Pisces boyfriend's house. No mistaking the message she sent there. Kendrick Lamar and Drake's a good recent example. You got a Gemini versus a Scorpio. Both will be good at telling lies. But in the end, whether Kendrick was lying or not, he's got people dancing to that shit. He's got people dancing to a song accusing a man of being a pedo. That's the dark side of Gemini. They can make lies or misinformation entertaining because the truth can be boring. Or they can tell the truth in an entertaining way, which if it's a serious truth, they'll make light of it. And when they do get serious with the truth, that's when you get the Kanye West Geminis. I.e., they will look crazy to everyone else, which may make people overlook the message the Gemini is spreading and just focus on their craziness. Lisa Left Eye Lopez once said, "Whether it's positive or negative press, it's all good. I do understand the game." It's like the game of Chinese whispers. Sometimes the game itself is more fun, more important than the message. But either way, the message always gets twisted along the way. And that's what Gemini can do for fun. Twist the message for fun. Gemini can be a delivery person. See the next drop is an urgent parcel. Get near the house, then see a front yard with a hoop and a ball unattended. Gemini can leave the urgent parcel for a bit and do a couple Kobe's before delivering the parcel. They can hear Tracy's baby daddy is sleeping with someone's neighbor. Gemini can go and tell Tracy without any thought of how Tracy's gonna feel. Does Tracy already know? Maybe they're in an open relationship. Maybe they're not even together anymore. Nah, Gemini will go share it without care, and this is where Tracy can tell Gemini to mind their business like, who the fuck are you? Then Gemini can just be like, hey, don't shoot the messenger. Then the messenger gets shot. This is where Gemini's mischievous ways can be a danger to their own self, because their mouth gets them in trouble. And sometimes, that's their own feelings getting their thoughts in trouble out of rebelling from not being listened to. Wrap your head around it. Geminis can send messages to you that is blatantly and indirect. Like say you and a Gemini have issues and are in the same vicinity. A Gemini can speak to another person and say indirect things to that person so you overhear it. And if that person don't respond to the indirect, that's where Geminis will think they got the upper hand. Then end up getting the dirtiest sucker punch from behind. If there's one sign, other than Aries, that can create many, and I mean many enemies for themselves, then it's Gemini. Innocently and purposely. Again with the Drake and Kendrick example. The Gemini will win that publicly, all day. But you see if the Scorpio takes it personal behind the scenes, which more time they do, it won't end well for the Gemini in the long run, on some Tupac and Diddy shit. Gemini can offend so many people out of playing around, cause like I said, they're a mutable sign and the youngest with that energy, so there'll be a lot of fun times for them, but it can also come at the expense of others. Donald Trump once said, "Do you mind if I sit back a little? Because your breath is very bad." Yeah, it's fun to put a firework through somebody's grandmama's letterbox. But it won't be fun for the residents, nor the Gemini if they get caught. Geminis are those naughty, cheeky, up to no good kids in every neighbourhood, backchatting the grown-ups, causing some sort of havoc. That will be funny as hell to them. It's all down to the twins. Eddie Hearn, the boxing promoter, is a classic Gemini example in terms of having the gift of the gab and talking a big game. Another thing Geminis are great at is mimicking people. Think mimes. They are great at carrying reflections. They can present two different versions of their self and mimic you same time. So with Gemini, you are really dealing with three, like the house, not two. Two of them, one you. 2 + 1 is 3, multiply 4 is 12, quick maths. But this also makes them deceitful as hell, because they can adapt the form of a great liar, even when that Gemini can normally not be a liar. All Gemini has to do is watch someone or be around someone and can mimic them. Pisces can actually become that person. This is where Pisces and Geminis share similarities in being called chameleons and whatnot. But Gemini can mimic anybody, no matter what their default personality is. You can get robbed by the most frightening person you've ever met in your life. These times it's a Gemini that got that way by sitting down watching gangster movies all day. They're not even from the hood. They are very tricky individuals, and the worst thing about it all, they are not just talkers. Violent Dolphin. Geminis are a resilient sign. They heal very fast. The only way Geminis won't heal fast is if they deep what they are healing from. If they keep it light, just talking about what they went through or are going through, that alone will heal them. No drink, no substances is needed for recovery. They are strong people. That they don't pay attention to their feelings, Geminis have that twin inside them that is bitter and wants to be heard, so it can make Gemini act out randomly. You can say, well, that sounds like bipolar. But not all Geminis are bipolar. I don't mix mental disorders with signs. That don't make sense to me personally. Any sign can get any illness or disorder. So more times when this twin acts out, it will be to unleash its own pain onto others. Jeffrey Dahmer once said, "Looking back on my life, I know I have made others suffer as much as I have suffered." Gemini rules the nervous system on the zodiac body, and things that comes in twos like arms, lungs, but it stays in the upper area of the body where it's light. Pisces represents the feet of the zodiac to understand the depth. So that other twin is deep down there, because the nervous system's everywhere. But it's like someone not paying attention to their lower body. The ocean is life. I've said in another video, if Pisces is in dreamland, then Geminis are the fairies floating around in there. Because regardless of all this talk, some Geminis have this fairy, elfy, magical look to them. And here's a few examples. Lisa Left Eye Lopez, Kylie Minogue, Leah Remini, Prince, Kendrick Lamar. They've got that look. So same way Pisces is the ocean, Geminis are the dolphins swimming in there. And we know dolphins are friendly and whatnot. But did you know dolphins are bullies? They are baby killers, kidnappers, sex freaks, vicious hunters. Fun, but dangerous. This is the dark side that lies within these Gemini dolphins. With having those opposing aspects in the sign Gemini itself, this can create a very unpredictable, unreadable, and dangerous person. And it's all down to that other twin. The mutable signs in general are all crazy. I mean, I'm a Pisces and I try to explain why Pisces is crazier than crazy on this channel, but Geminis are not far off. We all know Jeffrey Dahmer by now. And yes, not every Gemini is Dahmer, but if you take everything into consideration what I've said up until now, you will see how a Dahmer can easily be born under the Gemini sign. The only difference with Dahmer is he let his feelings lead the way. He let his other twin lead the way and used his negative and intrusive thoughts to accommodate his negative feelings. Remember what I said? Geminis normally stick to their thoughts, ignoring their feelings. It's kind of how they stay sane. When they flip that around, you get a dangerous person, because they cannot control their feelings paired with their curiosity being so strong. They do not learn about their feelings. It's not that time yet in the Zodiac. It's the time after. This is metaphysically speaking. Do not take everything as literal. So that they can't handle their feelings, when they get to this stage, Gemini's hands do the talking for them. You know, it's one thing when someone can chat, but their only mouth. That can potentially be Libra and Aquarius. In some cases, but Geminis will also attack you. They are ready to go violent at any time, especially if what they communicate to you is not heard. If they tell you to leave them alone and you don't, then they will make you leave them alone. Their hands will do the talking. Gemini can be some very good thieves, but it will involve violence too. They won't just rob you, they'll attack you too. Because a robbery alone is not enough sometimes. And that they are messengers, what is violence? It's a message. So if a Gemini robs you and attacks you, that message will be loud and clear. Don't follow me. Don't try to get your shit back. I'm dangerous. I've warned you and I've showed you. I've not just robbed you, I've assaulted you too. So know what time it is. When Gemini leads with the feelings and not their thoughts, things can go bad. But if their thoughts are also bad, you get double violence. Ever heard of Chris Benoit and what he did to his family? I saw a show recently on Netflix called What Jennifer Did, where this girl planned for her parents to get 187'd so she can be with her boyfriend. They controlled her all her life and whatnot, but also made her leave her boyfriend, so she organised with a hitman to get her parents offed. The dad luckily survived and was able to explain what happened to the police. If the dad didn't survive, it would have looked like a random home invasion over money or something. Watch that and you can see the dark side of Gemini in action. Lies, violence and all of that. Dark side of the Gemini mindset. Feelings? What feelings? They've already got their evil twin lurking in the shadows, but when the light twin at the forefront is also thinking evil too, man. Cancers will be the type to 187 someone to be with their partner or protect their partner. Crimes of passion, out of uncontrolled feelings, but planning to and then going through with offing your actual parents to be with your boyfriend is dark-sided Gemini energy. Them two signs there, the think and feel for the first time in the soul's journey, make Gemini and Cancers potentially uncontrollably dangerous as hell. Thinking to go to the club, meet someone new, take them home, rush them so you can experiment and make what you think is love to them, then 187 them, then eat them. That's dark-sided Gemini energy. That's the depths it can go to. The mutable energy is the most dangerous energy because it's transitional energy, i.e. they will take it there. So even when it's just your everyday Gemini who loves to chat and they say something to offend you, you may think they will be easy to just beat up for the disrespect. Then you go to fight them and end up feeling like you're getting rushed. You're fighting one Gemini and feel like two people's kicking your backside, and that's because it is. That other twin will align with even a Gemini with healthy thoughts in that moment and bring you down. You'll feel like you're fighting Goro with Tim's on, forearms, legs flying everywhere. And then after that, they can laugh and mock you to make you feel like more shit. Think Smoke Eating Friday. You got knocked the fuck out. And if you want to take it further, they'll up it on you too. Cause ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. Even with saying all that, Geminis are pretty like people. But the same way Pisces has got that shark within them, Geminis have that evil twin within them. Tupac once said, "That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat mother, take money." You may think, who's this Pisces talking on my sign? What do they know? Hey, it's just some things I've observed. If I'm wrong, feel free to say. Otherwise, shut your ass up, put your seatbelts back on, and make sure the aisle is clear. We'll be arriving at our destination shortly.